Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I have an upload that many of you have been waiting for. Before we get into it, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch store to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time, and you have waited far too long. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? All right, guys. Today I have a special guest and a special upload for you. You guys have asked how he's been, what's going on with him, and tonight I have Victor with us. Victor, how are you?
I'm good, doing great.
It was good to see you, or good to hear from you today. When I looked at the caller ID when you called me this afternoon, I was excited because we have not talked in some time now. A lot of people in the comments and in emails that I've gotten have asked about your Alaskan trip. And I was thinking we could fill in everybody with how that went for you and your sons, if that's something you're willing to do.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
That works for me. So I'm going to turn this over to you, and you can paint the picture of your terrifying Alaskan trip with your boys.
Okay. Well, started out, we got flown in, and the natives up there, whatever you want to basically call them, and that's what I kind of refer to them as, took us out on a boat, put us out in kayaks about 2 miles away from Portage. And we paddled in, set up camp, and I made it clear to my boys that 200-yard limit for them from day one, and they agreed with me. They was fine with that because they didn't know what to expect. Neither did I. It's a place I've always wanted to go, and from the time we got there, it was just dead silence. It just, from day one, it was just quiet.
Now, how were the boys like when you got there? Were they excited? What was their mood like?
When we first got there, they was excited.
Okay.
They was just ready. You know, wanted to see something.
Yep.
All gun ho. Everything. And you know, excited. And
right.
I said, I don't know if we'll even see anything. And I tried to explain that to them. And set down, I kind of set down some rules for them, you know, to stay within 200 yards of our camp.
Right.
Which we set up about 50 yards from where we went ashore. And the first day, there was nothing, you know. They kind of prowled around a little bit, probably didn't even get out of sight of camp. And I didn't get much further than that first day because I was kind of watching over them and see what was going on and just get a feel for the area.
Right.
Because I was the only one armed. And that's the way the only way that they was going to let us go in there was just one gun. And so that's what we agreed to. And that's the way I went in, one gun.
Now, was that so they didn't think you'd be hunting, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't want us to be like we was hunting the animal.
Okay.
And I'd carried my 458 Winchester mag, just what I'd carried, bolt action. I carried 40 rounds of ammunition, and that was it. I never thought, that would be not enough.
Right.
And so the first day rolls around, nothing happens. We go into the night, no sounds, no knocking, no howls, nothing. Next day comes around, we cook up breakfast. We all get out. Seems like that day everybody went kind of separate directions looking and trying to find something. Nobody finds anything. Another quiet day. We're all horsing around, having a good time, the boys and me, enjoying it, ourselves together.
Yeah, because this is one of your first times together in, probably all your lives, because you were working the whole time.
Probably in my entire life that right. I've got to spend any time with my boys. And we get to bed that night, no knocks, no howls, no nothing. Then on Wednesday, I told the boys I'm going to go a little further out today and just see if I can find anything. And, tell them to stay within the parameters. And that day, I go down through where the old town was, which was about 250, maybe 300 yards from where we was camped. And I find tracks. Actually, it was a single track. And I go back in and I tell them Wednesday night that I found the track. And I say, tomorrow I'll take it and show it to you. And they was all gung-ho Wednesday night, cutting up, laughing. They was all ready. And then next morning, they was up early. They was up before I was. And I get up, we get packed up. I take the lead, ease down through there. We go into the old town, and I show them the track. And by that time, there's probably 40 or 50 tracks.
Different sizes or just
different sizes?
Okay.
And a whole lot more tracks than the one I'd seen the day before. I'd seen the initial one. And it made my hair stand up, but they was all excited about it, because, gosh, they're seeing what I'm telling them is Bigfoot tracks.
Okay.
We wandered around the old town there for about 5 or 6 hours. We didn't see anything other than the tracks. This was on Thursday, and we go back into the camp, and just at dusty dark that night, we start hearing knocks and whoops and howls. And everything starting to get tense. The boys are starting to get nervous, and I'm starting to get nervous.
Right. Now, when you heard those, because you've hunted these, the boys have not, this is amateur hour for them. But
yes, very much.
Right. When you were hearing these tree knocks and the howling and the hoots, could you tell that there was aggression, or what was your feeling right off?
They was all around us. Okay. We was backed up to the bay, and they was on three sides of us, and we didn't have no place to go.
Yeah, so it's definitely a very uncomfortable situation for you.
Yeah, I told the boys stay in the tents. I went outside with a 458, shot off. I think I shot off 2 rounds, and it quietened down. Probably an hour later, it started back and a lot closer. And I told the boys, stay in the tents again. I was going outside, and I got outside, and their kayaks was gone. First thing I noticed, their kayaks was all gone. Every one of them. All 4 kayaks was missing. Well, I wasn't going to fire off no more rounds because I know I didn't have but 38 more shots, and I didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
And it was going to be Sunday before there was going to be a boat in the bay, and we didn't have any way to get out to that boat. Now, unless we was able to find their kayaks. So I just sat out there and watched them darting back and forth all around. And finally Scott came out the tent. He said, we got to do something. He said, we got to get out of here. And all 3 of these boys is my game wardens. That was in Georgia, they was game wardens, but not in the capacity to what I was.
Right.
Or supposed to be. And so they finally, all 3's out there, and they're seeing these things dart around, and they're seeing the size and everything. And they just can't believe what they're seeing. And we're up all night. And they're ready to get out of there. And the next morning, they find out that we ain't got no kayaks. And now they're scared. My boys are scared.
So this is Friday morning?
This is Friday morning.
Okay.
And it's foggy. Comes in a heavy fog. And they're still around us this morning. We ain't cooking. We ain't doing anything. We're staying right at the tents, using them for cover. They're still hooping and hollering all around us. And they start throwing rocks. It was Bobby. Hit Bobby in the left arm. Right on the bicep. Broke his arm. Immediately broke his arm. And I'm trying to keep him comfortable and telling him not to move and everything. And nobody else gets hit with a rock that day, but they throw them, and finally they destroy one of the tents. They've thrown so many rocks that they destroy one of the tents. And
so you're right now you're open game. Like it's like
we've got one tent standing up.
Yeah.
And they're hailing down some rocks on us pretty good. But it stayed foggy all day, and that was our basically our cover. And we're staying behind that one tent, and they hailed down rocks on us just about all day, maybe 2 hours, and they didn't throw rocks at us.
And now your poor kid is, you're probably worried about him going into shock. Because he's got a broken arm. The fear factor is,
Well, the fear factor in him was rising rapidly.
Yeah.
And he's worried about getting home to his wife, his kids.
Yeah.
And
because now with him, the swimming,
it was a mistake. He's saying for him to come and he wished he hadn't came.
Right.
And I'm trying to tell him, just stay calm. I'm going to get you out of this. And just as it starts breaking dust, one of them breaks within about 20 or 30 feet of us with a rock as big as a human's head, and raises it up above his head. And I raise up and I shoot, and I kill him instantly. Shot him right through the neck. And down he goes. And just as soon as I done that, there was probably 20 or 30 come charging us and came running into us and tear down the tent and just overrun us, just run into us, bowling us over like we was bowling pins. They ended up, they broke 2 of Scott's legs, 1 of his arms, broke 4 of Scott's ribs. And then Randy, they broke his arms, broke his 7 ribs and an arm on him. And then they got to Bobby, and broke a leg and broke 4 ribs. And I'm shooting that gun as fast as I can. And it being a bold action, it only holds 4 shells. And they've done knocked me down, but I'm not hurt. I'm still able to load and reload and shoot. But, you know, I'm just able to reload and shoot. And when it's over, I've killed 4 of them. But all 4 of my 3 boys are down. And I've got 3 Sasquatch on the ground dead. 4 Sasquatch on the ground dead total. And they pull back from us. And they're dragging their dead and wounded away.
Now, are they, as they're dragging them away, are they looking back at you guys? Or are they making?
Well, they're throwing rocks, seeing if I'm still shooting.
Okay.
Trying to get to me, but I'm trying to pull my boys to one place to keep us all together.
Yeah.
And not let them drag one of us away. And it was hard to do. My boys was crying. I didn't know what else to do. I was doing all I knew to do. And finally, they pulled back enough to where I got my boys up in one group. My boys were scared to death, and I didn't know what to tell them. I told them I'd get them out of there somehow.
Right.
And I get them pulled all the way to the babe and get them behind the big log. And start just telling them lay still. Stay behind that log. And I get on the other side of the log, and I'm trying to shoot and make sure they don't advance on us anymore. And I'm sitting on the other side of the log, reaching across and patting my boys, trying to make sure, you know, that they're okay, just patting my boys. And finally, they back off from us. And I sit there all night, just calming my boys. That's all I know to do.
Right.
And they backed off from us enough. And they never did charge in again that night. And they didn't come back at all. It's like I'd backed them out.
Which
and
is, I'm guessing, a relief for you at this point, because now you can at least get some.
I think I was down to eight shells at that point. Next morning, I'd counted up, and that's what I had left. I had eight rounds of ammunition left. Saturday morning comes around, and I can still see 4 carcasses laying out there that they didn't get. And the boys they're praying and carrying on. How are we going to get out of this? How are we going to get out of this? And I built up a big old fire out in front of us. And every once in a while, I wanted to make a big old bluff run at us. I'd stand up and raise that rifle. When I'd raise that rifle, they'd immediately turn and back off. Wouldn't charge any further. And it kept on like this all day. And then Sunday, we were supposed to have a boat come in, but they weren't going to come in but 2 miles offshore. That's as close as that boat was going to come. And nightfall fell Saturday night. And Sunday morning, I heard a plane right at daybreak. And it was a bush plane. And he seen the fire. And he flew down real low. And I waved and waved and waved and finally got him down. He flew over us 4 or 5 times. Finally seen that I had people hurt. And he landed, came up there, and he wasn't going to let me put anybody in his plane. He said he'd fly out and tell somebody we was there and that they was going to have to land and come to the shore to get us. But I put the gun on him and told him he was going to take them boys out of there, or I was going to shoot him and I was going to take them out there. And we loaded them up and got them in the plane. But that was going to be the load limit on this plane to get people out. And I told him that's fine. Take them boys and get them to help. I'd get out on my own. And he agreed to that. And he said he'd send help back for me. But if he didn't send help back, then I'd have to get out on my own. And I said, okay, I can do that. So he took off. And he said he'd take the boys to the nearest hospital, which I didn't know where he was carrying them to. Didn't care. Just as long as he got them to help. So he took off flying. I knowed where he was going to take them to, because I knowed where the closest place to carry them was.
So at this point, you're at least you're, yeah, they're okay.
Boys can be taken care of.
Right.
Boys are in the air. But now I got a 7-day walk out.
With 8 bullets.
With 8 bullets. Nothing to eat. I sat down there on the beach and just take stock of what I got and what I got to do. And sit there for about 4 hours. And I get tree knocks start. And I get down behind that log and just lay there for 3 or 4 hours. And trying to rest. And get charged by 3. And I shoot 2 of them. And it takes me 4 rounds to knock them down. But I did did kill him. And then I started out of there, and I had 4 rounds of ammunition. And I started my walkout, and knew I was in for a hard walk. And I knew they'd probably follow me. I started walking, and I could hear them following me, but I never did see them. But I could hear them. And I was walking as fast as I could, but I never did see them again. But I could hear them. And I could hear them growl. And it was like they was growling at the top of their lungs. And oh Lord, they scared me to death growling.
Yeah.
And I never let off another round. They was intimidating. And it seems like the faster I tried to walk, the more they tried to push me. And the more I went through the town, seems like the more they tried to push me. And the louder they'd growl, and the more intimidating they'd get. And harder they'd push. And I was proud to get out of that little town.
Right.
And one town I never want to go back to.
Yeah. Now, when you were walking, how far do you think they paced you at? How far did they walk with you?
Probably 3 days before I quit hearing them following me. At least 3 days.
So they pretty much were just they were looking out for their land.
Sure. Yep. They ran me out of there. Totally ran me out of there.
Wow. So then you get hooked up with your boys. How are they? Are they at the hospital? They're recovering?
They're home. They're in Georgia.
Right. I'm saying when you got hooked up with them at the hospital.
Oh yeah. They was in the hospital. They was in Juneau.
Right. Now I had made an announcement, stating that you had some trouble, and a lot of subs
big trouble.
Yeah, and a lot of subs were like, well, your boys were upset with you. And
yeah, we got back to Craig, and they explained to their families what had went on, and the families, including my ex, and everybody got upset with me for taking them.
Yet it was it was not their idea, but it was all of your ideas. It was an adventure that you guys wanted to do.
Yeah, it was. They wanted to go.
Right.
They asked me to take them. I mean, the only person I invited was you.
Yeah. Now,
you was the only person I actually invited to go.
So with that, they're upset, but then they at least for that short period of time knew what you had done all of their life growing up. They knew what you had done and saw kind of what you had experienced firsthand for 40 something years.
Yeah. Till I made a phone call and got a favor called in and had everybody in the family memory erased.
Now, how bad was, if you don't mind,
10 days.
Huh?
I had everybody's memories erased for 10 days.
Right. Now, out of the boys, You don't have to say who was hurt, but who was what was the worst amount of damage done to the, one had a broken arm.
Scott had 2 broken legs, a broken arm, 7 broken ribs.
Wow.
Randy had a broken arm and 4 broke ribs. Bobby had a broke arm, a broke leg, and I can't remember how many broke ribs.
Huh. So are they healed up now?
I made arrangements and made phone calls and got their jobs back in Georgia.
Okay.
So they're all returning to work next month sometime. Because they had all quit their jobs.
Right.
Had all moved to Colorado and was looking for work. But when they got mad at me and pitched such a fit, I moved them all back home. I didn't want them with me any longer.
Right. Right. I mean, it's a hard thing to deal with, I
didn't want to deal with it.
Right. Right. I mean, you've got them casting blame at you, and I know you, and I know you're probably blaming yourself anyway.
Yep.
So,
That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't blame it. I can't blame you on that.
I done. I made phone calls and got everybody their jobs back. I mean, I done more than what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
They wanted to go. It wasn't my idea. I shouldn't have took them.
Right. Now, when you saw the aggression, out of all the years that you've done this and hunted these things, have you ever seen these creatures act that aggressive? The Sasquatch act that?
Never.
And they were
never in the quantity they was in.
Right.
I never had a chance to protect the boys and myself. Maybe if I'd been there by myself, maybe I could have took care of myself. But there was no way I could have protected all of us with one gun.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe if my boys had been armed, it would have been a different story. But the way it was and the circumstances that we went in under, no way.
Yeah. And they showed intelligence too, because they knew if they took your kayaks out of there, you guys were screwed. You guys were pinned down. So
yeah, and I never found them. I never even found parts of them.
Huh. So right there, they showed a complete, almost, it was technical. They were pretty much setting you guys up to fail.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, were these
and they was huge too.
Yeah,
that was another thing. They were huge.
Huh.
8 foot was small.
And just pure aggression.
Yep. I've never seen it like that out of them.
Yeah. I wonder if that's because they were in a group. You know what I mean? Like, because periodically.
I think it was like a family pod.
Right.
Or something. And that was their territory. And by God, it was going to be held.
Yeah.
And they done it too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's insane. I mean, I'm glad that you guys. I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that your kids are okay. It's real crappy that your trip didn't go better. It's crazy that you guys did nothing to set them off. You know, they went off on you guys.
Well,
Maybe it was you pushing into the village more and looking and you know, scouting around that ticked them
that
off.
may have set them off.
Yeah.
That may have.
But, you know, it's just, it's, people think Sasquatches are the nice things. You know, they're not nice.
No, they're not.
And Luke, I mean, you asked earlier when we were talking about Luke, and you know, he had that one that he had communicated with when he was a kid, young adult, and then him and his family went out to Georgia to hunt, to look for it, and he ended up finding it, and it was completely different. You know, it was aggressive towards him and this and that. I people really need to understand that these things are not friendly. They're not it's not Harry and the Henderson time. These are aggressive. Yeah, they're aggressive friggin' creatures. I got something I'd like to talk about real quick. Ben, on top of all of these attacks that I've covered on the channel, you haven't been able to listen to the channel because you've been dealing with a lot of your issues. But for some reason, there's been a lot of cases of feral human beings. And I find it interesting because, you know, when you shared the hunt that you did, what is it, out in Tennessee with the feral human there, the clan of the caveman or whatever, a lot of people kind of, you know, were like, yeah, right, whatever, caveman, yeah. But now I'm starting to see a lot more sightings of these feral humans. And I'm wondering why we're seeing new sightings of these things. I'm wondering if they're because we're pushing into their territory, I think, but they seem really, really aggressive. And you know, there was a guy that I was talking to probably a month ago, and he shared his encounter with me, and I shared it on the channel. He was out hiking, and you know, just him and his two dogs, and he gets to this ridge, and he notices what he thought was a squatch up on the ridge. It turns out it's a feral human being, and it was, you know, really aggressive. What's your thought on these things? And the, you know, I know you're not doing what you did it before, but just your thought on why we're seeing so many new encounters of feral humans.
Well, they've been out there for so long, and there's so many of them. I'm keeping in touch with my office where I used to be.
Yep.
And they've got an ongoing hunt right now back in Cades Cove in Tennessee for more of these cavemen-like people.
Yeah.
Going on up there right now. Supposedly 7 more have been sighted by hundreds of people this summer.
Huh.
And going into the fall, they're actually thinking about closing down the park for the winter.
And hunting them in the winter?
And trying to get some people in to search it out through the winter and see if they can find them and remove them. They're wanting to try to do it more humanely.
Yeah.
But these type of people like that are so aggressive that you can't be very humane.
Yeah, yeah. It's not
Because,
like you can move like a bear or a bear cub. You can't, you find it one place, you bring it to another. You can't move their home. You pretty much got to take them out. Otherwise, they're, yeah.
They're not, they're not going to be hospitable.
Yeah, they're not going to welcome you in and, have you chew on some of their roots and shit like that.
That's right.
So, I shared a picture with you. I did an upload the other day out of Oregon. What did you think of that picture?
Dogman.
That's what I thought. When you and I were talking, you could see the snout, and it's almost like the way I'm seeing its snout kind of up a little bit. Its mouth is open, and it's almost like it's sniffing around with its mouth open and head raised just slightly. But it's not a big muzzle either.
No.
No, it's pretty large too.
It's big.
Yeah.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
That is a big boy. That one probably, I'm looking at it again right now. That one probably weighs 600 pounds.
Yeah, it's stocky. It's very stocky. If that thing stood up, just judging from the height on all fours, I was thinking if it stood up, it'd easily be 8 feet. Easily.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah. And if you look right on the front left, kind of the shoulder area, the front, that's its breast. You can see how muscular it is.
Yeah.
On it. Yeah, it's kind of got a shine to it.
It's very large. It's definitely something that I don't want to run into.
No.
And it's crazy that I looked at some of the comments that people have been making. And this picture came from a deputy. And
deputy sheriff, right?
Yep. And one person said, well, how come this picture made it to the public? And my thought on that is because the deputy is looking at it like it's a bear. The news articles were like it's a bear, and they're gonna brush it off like it's a bear. But then you have some internet sleuths that were out there on the Facebook page of the sheriff's office and said, that's a big dog. And the news agency said, nope, that's a squatch. And I saw it and I was like, that's a big dog, man.
That's what that is.
Yep, that's crazy.
He's down on all fours getting.
The question of the day for you.
Okay.
And I just got an email from Janice M. And she was asking, when can we expect the book?
November the 19th.
Okay. And the closer we get to that day, you'll let me know how and where people can purchase the book.
Amazon.
It's going to be on Amazon.
Yep.
Okay. Because I knew in the beginning you weren't really sure where it was going to be. So it's going to be on Amazon on the 19th. That's going to be awesome.
Yep.
All right. So on top of all of this stuff,
the publisher I went with decided to publish it through Amazon. He said he thought it would do much better.
Right. So with everything else going on, you're doing well, minus the family issues.
Yep.
You're looking forward to the book.
I'm looking forward to everybody seeing the book.
Yeah, I really am.
The publisher's worried, but
what are they worried about?
The pictures.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, "How is this going to go?" Well, one of the emails I got was, it was almost a troll. It was a troll email, saying, how the heck are they allowing him to use these pictures? What's your response on that?
Well, we're gonna see how it goes.
So right there, we're gonna see. There is no. You have permission to share the story, so.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if they'll allow the pictures.
All right. Well, do me a favor. Don't hang up when we end this. But it's been great talking to you. It's always great talking to you. We talked for a while.
It's always good to talk to you and to talk to everybody out there.
Yeah, everybody's been asking about you. How are you? This and that. And I knew you were going through crap. We've tried to get in touch with each other. Today was the day, and I'm glad that we were able to get in contact with each other and be able to talk for a period of time.
We finally made it.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to say to the public before we end the interview?
Just enjoy yourselves. Buy my book. And, just read it and see what you think. Right. It's the truth. Mm-hmm. And if they don't give us a bunch of crap over the pictures, we'll be in good shape.
Yeah. So on the 19th, get the book as fast as you can, because
that's right.
If BS comes out and the government wants to shut it down, you'll at least be the first.
They can get it fast, because if they want to shut it down, they can do it.
It's going to be like the Abby Hoffman book, Steal This Book, where it exists, but it really doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Victor, it was great talking to you. I appreciate you taking some time and sharing your family's outing. I'm sorry it went so crappy, and I could really hear it. When you were telling it, your demeanor really slowed down. I could tell that you were, upset with it, and now, you're back to your normal self, cheery. I'm sorry that it went like that, but I appreciate you sharing it with us.
Well, I'm glad to share it with everybody. I just, wish the outcome had been a little different.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, you get what you ask for.
That's
unfortunately. Right. And, just be ready. Don't ask for something you can't handle. So
there you go.
Well, my friend, we're going to end this. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure talking to you always.
All right. Thank you.